Can you able to hear me, all of you? Okay. So let us start today's session. Before that, we'll just recap what we have done yesterday. So what we have discussed yesterday? Yesterday, what we have discussed? Which topic we have done? Yes, IIS. So IIS stands for Internet Information Service. Uh, this is a service designed by the Microsoft. So it will work on Microsoft operating system. So yes, basically this service is used for what purpose? Basically, this service is used for what purpose? To host the website. So yesterday we discussed in 2012 server operating system we are using what IIS 8.0 version. Yes. So through this we can host the website. So how to host the website we have discussed. Practically also I shown you. So first I shown you how to host the website. Then second practical I shown you like to the website we can go to the our sublinks. So once we have our main page, from that sublinks can be there, which is called virtual directories. Then we discussed how to create the virtual directories as a administrator for sublinks. Then we proceeded with what? Next practical redirection. Yes, I shown you how we can redirect from one website to the other website. When particular user open one particular website, it should be sent to the other website. And how to remove the redirection? Simply uncheck that box. Then finally, I shown you how we can change the port number. If you don't want others to know your port number, by default, the port number will be depending on the protocol. If I'm using HTTP, the port number will be EIT. If I'm using HTTPS, the port number will be what? 443. These are default. But still, if you want to change those port numbers, you can do it. I shown you how to do it. So when you change the port number, it is mandatory to give the port number when you give the website name in the URL. At that time, you have to give the port number. If it is not default port number. If it is default port number, no need to give the port number in the URL when we access the website. So this I'll show you along with last somebody told to show with the IP address. So I shown you also with IP address. We can access the website by IP address and host it. No, I'm not put any screen. Just I'm explaining you what we have discussed yesterday. You can see on the screen the chat. No. Yes, that's what. I still not open any page because I'm just. Uh, you cannot hear me. 6817, but others I can able to hear. Yes. So those who are not able to hear, please. From my side, there is no problem. It is might be from your side. Check the connectivity and re-log in. Those who are not able to hear me, those who are not able to hear me, please check your connectivity. From your side. Those who are not able to hear from them, for them I'm saying. Still, if you are not able to hear, you re-log in it. Those who are not able to hear. Okay, this is about the yesterday session. Now coming to today's session, what we are going to discuss. Actually, we need to start as per the day Linux, but one important topic is there which required full-fledged session. So tomorrow onwards, we will start the Linux. Today we will concentrate on what? Storage management. So what we are going to discuss today's session? Storage management. So it requires full session. So that's why I'm today discussing only storage management. And tomorrow onwards, we'll have some topics are pending in MCSE. So first, I'll take half an hour or 45 depending upon the session. The first hour what? MCSE. Then I'll continue with tomorrow onwards Linux till the 14th. So after few days, the Linux once the MCSE topics are completed, final few days I'll take only Linux, but will not leave any topic. It is our responsibility. So whatever given in the voucher, same thing, same syllabus will be completed. Okay, don't worry about that. Now coming to today's session. Uh, Coming to today's session, we'll start what we are going to discuss in today's session, storage management. So what do you mean by storage? Storage means what? Storage means what? Management means managing, but our today topic name is what? Storage management. So storage means what? Storage means what? A place, a location where we can store our data. Yes. So now storage means what? Where we can store our data. Where we can store our data. Yes, that is the storage. So generally, you tell me, where do you store the data when you are working on either on your laptop, personal laptop, or you are using your desktop? Generally, when you write anything, where this data will be stored? Our data when we saved. Yes. So our data will get saved generally on where? Our hard disk. So storage management means what? Where our data is getting stored? On the hard disk. So today our full session is about how to manage our hard disk. How to manage our hard disk. That is what we are going to focus or discuss in today's session. Managing our hard disk. That we are going to focus in today's session. The topic name is what? Storage management. The topic name is what? Storage management. So let's start with the storage management topic. So storage management means we are going to focus on what? How to manage our hard disk. Because the storage will be done in what? Secondary devices that like hard disk. So secondary storage devices. That example for that is our hard disk. To manage our hard disk. So you have any idea like to manage our hard disk, what you will create generally? To manage your hard disk, what you will create generally? Yes, very nice. Partitions. So to manage your hard disk, we need to create what? Partitions. So suppose I have 1 TB of hard disk, just assume. So I can keep everything, whatever I want, in one single drive or in single partition. No? But generally, why people will do multiple partition? Even if I create one partition in the hard disk, I can is able to save my complete data. But generally, people use more than one partition. Why? Why you will create one more than one partition? Yes, there are many advantages, like you people are writing. Easy access, better management, or keeping our data in a different type of data in different drive. Yes, these are these are the many advantages. But the most important feature of creating the separate partition is security, data security. Yes. Suppose imagine everything is in single drive, example C drive, including your OS. If suppose your OS get corrupted, then what happens? Imagine your OS got corrupted, then everything, including your data, will be lost. So to avoid this, generally what we will do as a precautionary measure, what we will do? Generally, we will keep our OS in C drive, and all our important data will try to keep in other drive. So we can systematically arrange our data. We can able to fetch our data easily, as well as at the same time, the most important advantage we are looking for by creating the multiple partition is data security. So if suppose imagine you have created multiple partition and you stored your data in other drives other than C drive. Then now imagine one day your OS got corrupted. So there is no other option. You tried very option, but it is now you are not able to recover it. Now you need to install the OS, reinstall. You did the reinstall. Now once you reinstall the OS, same OS you are installing, whatever the OS folders you were having, same thing you will get. But imagine if you did not do the other partition, so your entire data was there. Now you are reinstalling the OS. What happens? Your entire data will be lost. You can get it back the OS folder because by reinstalling, but data cannot be not able to recover the data. So that's why what we will do generally, we'll keep our important data in other drive other than C drive. So that even if OS get corrupted, when we reinstall the OS, we'll not lose any data. That is the most important advantage apart from some other advantages like you people said, systematically arranging, speed of the data fetch can be increased. So many advantages. Along with that, most important advantage we are looking for is data should not be lost. We will not lose the data by creating multiple partition and storing the data in other partition other than our OS drive partition. Okay, so this is what the normal information, but we'll proceed apart from that some more information. So we'll focus now on storage management. Now, here, this is the basic information. I think everybody knows of, but we are going to go a little bit deep with this topic, storage management. Now, first we are going to focus on how many types of our data is getting stored on hard disk. So we are going to focus how many types of hard disk you are aware about. So are you know different types of hard disk? Any idea about how many different types of hard disk we have? Different types of hard disk. So I'm getting the answers. Yes. Somebody saying ID. Yes. Somebody says SATA. Yes. Apart from this, any other hard disk you are aware? Yes. I got the complete answer now. Yes. Very nice. So basically, I can say the hard disk are of four types. One is what IDE, SATA, then SCSI, then SCSI, then the SSD. So these are the different types of hard disk we are having. So now whether we are using ID type of hard disk, we don't use. So we are using what different types of hard disk like I'll write it so that everybody can understand. So mostly we are using which type of hard disk? Different types of hard disk are available. So what are the different types of hard disk we can have? Different types of hard disk. Like we have different types of hard disk like IDE. Then we also have what SATA. Now we also have what SCSI. Yes. We also have what the SAS type of hard disk. Now we also have what SSD hard. So out of this, IDE stands for what? IDE is called as what? IDE. Nobody is using now, but it is to be called as what? It is used to be called as what? Integrated. I stands for what here? I stands for what? Integrated. Integrated drive electronics. Integrated drive electronics. This is the abbreviation for ID. What about the SATA? SATA stands for what? SATA stands for what? Serial. S means serial. A means what? Advanced. Serial advanced technology. Technology. This is technology. Technology attachment. This is the abbreviation for SATA. What about this SCSI? It stands for what? Small. S means what? Small. C means computer. Small computer system interface. What about the SSD? SSD stands for what? Solid. Yes, solid state drive. Solid state drive. What about the SAS? Yes, SAS stands for what? SAS stands for what? SAS abbreviation? Yes. Here, yes stands for what? S stands for what? Serial attached. Yes. Serial attached. So these are the different types of hard disk we have. So out of this, nobody is using now this. And our normal machines, whether it is a desktop or laptop, we are using generally what? This SATA on our normal. But in the real-time servers, you will find this type of hard disk. In the real-time environment, especially on the servers, because we discussed there are two different type of servers they'll use. Okay, I'll repeat. In the real time, they'll use what? Not normal machine. They'll use what? They'll use hardware servers. We discuss what is hardware servers, which will have multiple hardware capacities. Like generally, our machine consists of what? Single hard disk, single RAM, single processor. But in the real-time hardware servers, why they're called hardware servers? Because they will multiple hardware devices in a single machine. So in the hardware servers, they will use what? ID or SATA hard disk. They are using what type of hard disk? Okay, okay, you understood this? So we are going to focus on what? Normal hard disk or on the hard disk which we are going to use on the servers. Yes, the hard disk which we on the servers it will be used. That type of hard disk we are going to focus in today's session. Now my voice is okay, little bit. Yes. Okay, fine. Now our focus will be on this type of hard disk. Now coming to this slide now, you can see these are the different types of hard disk we are having. So As the technology increases, the performance also increases. But here you can see the most important is cost factor. As the performance increases, the cost factor also increases. Now, you tell me out of this, which one is the costly hard disk? The features or the performance will be very good with the SSD hard disk, but the cost factor also increases. So here in the graph, we can able to see it as the performance increases. So if you want to manage good performance with good features, means you need to spend more amount. Okay. If you want to take the snapshot of this, you can take it. These are the different types of hard disk available. Okay. Okay. Done. Next point. Next point. So whenever you use this hard disk, so if you want to use this hard disk, what you need to create? Yes. If you want to use your hard disk, any hard disk, whether you use any hard disk, if you want to store the data, what you need to create on those hard disks? First thing, you need to create what? You need to create what? Partitions. Now I created, suppose, one new hard disk I taken and I created new partition. So once I create a new partition, after creating the new partition, can I store the data straight away or I need to do something? So once I create a new partition, can I store the data? What I need to do it before I store the data? What I need to do? Yes, very nice. We have to format that partition. We need to format. So now we have discussed what are the different types of hard disk are there. Now we are going to discuss if you use any type of hard disk and if you want to store the data, first you need to format it. We need to create the partition. After creating the partition, we need to format it. Are you do you know the formatting? This format when we format the partition, what are the formatting style available to us? That FAT NTFS comes under file system. They are called file system. But before that, we should know what are the partition systems are available. What are the different types of partition available to format? To format, these are called what? File system. But I am saying what are the different types of formatting style or partition styles are present are available. So can be categorized into two types. We categorize into how many types? Two types. That is called hard disk partitioning style. So to make your data store, first we need to format. First we need to create the partition. So after creating the partition, we'll format it. So before formatting, your partition style is available. How many types of partition style is available? So that comes under two types. So we can create the partition under two different styles. Those are called partition style. So those partition style are called, one is called MBR, the second one is called GPT. So how many partition style is available for creating the partition on the hard disk? Two types are there. What are they called? MBR and GPT. So I repeat once again, how many types of partition styles are available to create the partition in any hard disk? Two types are there. What are they? One is called MBR and second one is called GPT. How many types of partition styles are there? Two types. What are they? MBT, MBR and GPT. Here MBR stands for what? MBR stands for what? Master boot recorder. And GPT stands for what? GPT stands for what? Yes, global partitioning table. GPT stands for what? Global partitioning table, not group. Global. So what is the difference between these two styles? What is the difference? No need to say sorry. Just I'm just informing you. So now, what is the difference between these two styles? So first, how many types of partition? Hard disk are there? We have discussed. Then second, if you want to store the data on the hard disk, any type of hard disk, first thing you have to do is what? First you need to create. First you need to create what? Partition. So to create the partition, we have to follow the partitioning style. So how many partitioning style is present or available? Two style. That is called partitioning style. What are they? MBR, MBR and GPT. MBR full form, master boot recorder. Second one is called global GPT, global partition table. As very nice as the Ram mentioned here, global can be also referred with the name GUID. It is also can be called as what? GUID, global UID, partitioning table. So what is the difference between these two styles? We'll see now. We'll see now these two styles. So how many partition style is there? Now let us try to come to the partitioning style. So how many types of partitioning styles are there? I said two types. So to create the partition, how many types of partition style we have? System or you can say style. Two types of partitioning style are there. What are they? MBR, MBR and GPT. These are the two partitioning style we have. MBR stands for what? Master boot recorder. GPT stands for what? This stands for what? Master boot recorder. And this is what? GUID. You can also call our global partitioning table. So what is the difference between these two style means? In this, if you create the partition, in this model, if you create a partition, first three partitions, first three partitions will be called as what? In this, first three partition will be primary. Yes, first three partition will be always primary. And the fourth partition will be always, just a second. The first three partition will be always in this MBR. In MBR, first three partitions will be always primary. First, then fourth partition will be always, fourth partition will be extended. It's called what? Extended. And from the extended, we can create, from the extended, we can create n number of or multiple logical drive. So this extended partition can be into divided into number of logical partition. Logic drive or partition, you can say. So this is the style which is called called MBR. So I repeat once again, in MBR, master boot recorder, which is called first three partition. Once you create the first three partition, that comes under what? Primary. And your fourth partition will be always extended. Then this extended partition can be divided into n number of logical partitions. So this is what there. So this is the type of partitioning style. We have one type of partitioning style. The other one is called GPT. The other one is called what? GPT. So in the GPT, what is the difference now? In the GPT, what is the difference now? In the GPT, there is no something like primary or something like that. So it consists of what? No primary, no secondary, extended like this. So it is totally divided. It consists of what? Total 128 primary partitions. What is the difference here between MBR and GPT? In GPT, it consists of what? It consists of what? It consists of 128 partition, and this 128 partition all comes under what? Primary partition. So in this there is no nothing like extended or logical, nothing like that. All will be a primary partition. But how many it will support? How many primary partition? 128. If you in the MBR, first three will be primary. But if you want forcefully, you can have forcefully how many primary partition? Maximum four primary partition. But once you create fourth partition as primary, you cannot create any further partition. Your entire space will be allocated the fourth primary partition. So that's why generally we'll go with what? First three primary by default. Fourth one will be extended. From extended, depending up till we have the space in the hard disk, we can create n number of logical partitions. The format we follow or use in MBR style. Then coming to the GPT style, it consists of what? 128 partition, which will be all primary. So in the GPT, 128 primary partitions will be there. No extended, no logical, nothing like that. Only primary. But one more thing is what? This MBR will support, MBR style will support up to how much size of the hard disk? This will MBR style support up to how much hard disk size? Can support up to 2 TB. MBR style will support hard disk up to how much size? 2 TB. What about the GPT? GPT style support higher than 2 TB. If I have 2 TB, can I use the GPT? Yes. But if I have more than 2 TB, suppose 4 TB, can I use the option called MBR? At that time, I cannot. Then I need to use only with what? GPT. So GPT will support what? Greater than 2 TB hard disk also. This is another difference. This is the difference between type of hard disk. In the hard disk, before you store the data, you need to create the partition. So the partition depends on the partition style. So how many partition styles we have? Two types. What are they? MBR and GPT. What is the difference between MBR and GPT? We just now discussed. Once again, I repeat, in MBR, first three partition will be primary, fourth one will be extended. From extended, we can create n number of logical partitions. But in GPT, we will have only primary partitions. So how many primary partitions we will have in that? Maximum 128. But one important difference you have to remember, MBR style will support maximum up to 2 TB hard disk. If our hard disk is more than 2 TB, then compulsory you need to go for what? GPT. So GPT can support less than 2 TB also or more than 2 TB also. Is it okay now? Understood the difference between MBR and so please remember, you can remember like this MBR in a easy way. MBR. If you are following the MBR style, this is your hard disk. The first partition will be primary, second partition will be also primary, third partition will be primary, fourth one will be what? You are extended. Fourth one will be extended. extended can be divided into number of logical partitions. Can create a number of logical partitions. So this is the style of MBR. But if I go for the GPT, if I go for the GPT, then it will have only which type of partition? Only which type of partition? If I create partition, it will have only primary partition. So how many it will support? 128. And it will support higher than 2 TB. It will support maximum up to 2 TB hard disk. So we discuss now. We discuss what now? How many types of hard disk are there? So to create the partition, how many styles we have? Now let us come to like important file system. So if you use the different partition, so before you store the data, compulsory after creating the partition, you have to format. So to format your partitions, you need to follow the or use the file system. You need to use what? File system. You can use it. If you want to use your extended partition for installing the OS, you can use it. Once the partition is available, you can use. Now coming to the, so you want to say without following the dual booting, you want to do it. Installing the OS, you are saying it doesn't support. You have to use what? The primary partition. Now coming to the formatting. So when you format your partition, you have to follow what? File system. So every operating system have their own file system. Using that file system only, it will format the partition. So what are the file system we use in Windows to format our partition? Yes. Yes. What are the file system we use to format these partitions now? Yes, different types of we have different types of formatting file system. It's called file system. Like what are the file system you are aware about? Like in Windows, we are purely talking about Windows. So in Windows, what are the file system formatting file system we have? So we know about what? FAT 16. Then came what? FAT 32. Then came here what? NTFS. These are the commonly used file system in Windows. So what is the difference between these three? FAT stands for what? I'm just checking in the answers in the chat box. FAT stands for? FAT stands for? Let me see your answer. Nobody written? Yes, I got it answer. Yes, file allocation table. What is the correct answer for FAT? FAT stands for what? File allocate. This is allocation table. File allocation table is FAT. So first they introduce what? 16. So what do you mean by 16 here? FAT 16. It will support up to 16 GB only. This style will support only what? Up to 16 GB. Whereas about this 32 GB. And in this one file will support up to 4 GB. One file maximum can support up to 4 GB, not more than. Now, when it comes to NTFS, how much it can support now? It is designed to support what? Up to 16 TB. NTFS can support up to how much? Maximum. This is the maximum I'm saying. 16 TB. But if I have more than 16 TB, then suppose now in the real time you may get a hard disk which will be higher than that. So then, yeah, latest file system is what? The latest file system they have introduced after the NTFS is what? REFS, which is designed to support greater than 16 TB, which can be more than terabyte. After terabyte, you have, I think, terabyte or something like that. Okay. After that, I heard something like with exabyte something. Now, now this is the information. So now, generally we work with what? Normally this. But now the latest one is what? This is the latest one. So if the hard disk is more than 16 TB, we have to go for REFS. If my hard disk is less than 16 TB, can I use the REFS? Less than 16 TB, it will support or not? Yes, it will. Always remember, higher will support lower, but lower will not support higher. Remember the logic. So REFS stands for what? I think everybody knows the NTFS. What is the abbreviation for NTFS? NTFS stands for what? Yes. New technology. N means new. T means technology. New technology. File system. New technology file system. Then what about the REFS? REFS stands for what? Very nice. Somebody has written, I don't know the name because they log in with the code. Very nice. It is called resilient. Resilient. RE means resilient file system. Remember the abbreviation. FAT stands for file allocation table, whereas NTFS stands for new technology file system. Then the REFS. REFS is used for the hard disk, which is more than 12, 16 terabyte. It doesn't mean that less than 16 won't support. It will support higher than that. Means so normally it will support less than also. So what is the full form of REFS? Resilient file system. So we discussed now how many types of hard disk are there. Then we discussed what are the this style format partition style. Now we came to what for creating the partition. We have the style. Now once the partition is created, we need to format. Now we discuss formatting file system. What are the different file system you have in Windows? Now let us go to the next type of storage. So our main focus is what now? Type of storage. Type of hard disk over, type of formatting, uh, partitioning style is over, type of formatting file system is over. Now the most important is what? Most important for today is what? Type of storage. So you know how many types of storage are there? Or the storage can be classified into how many types? Types of storage. Just give me some number. Yes, Ram has mentioned three types. What about the others? From the Mohiddin, I got the answer as what two. Some strength is nice, around 25 people. Okay. Rajesh is also mentioning three. So let me go with the answer for the benefit of all of us. Yes. When Ram mentioned the type, yes, it is the correct answer. We have how many types of storage? How many types of storage we have? Three types. How many types of storage we have? Types. What three types of storage are there? Yes. What are they? You gone one step further. Then me, before I ask, Ram has mentioned also that what are those types? So what are those types of storage? Are storage can be basically divided into three categories or three types. They are called SAS, NAS, and SAN. So how many types of storage we have? Three types. What are they? SAS, NAS, and SAN. So now we are going to focus on what? The difference between DAS, NAS, and SAN. In which scenario or in which case you will use which type of storage. We'll see that. So first we'll proceed with what? DAS, then we'll go to the NAS, then we'll come to the SAN. Go with the first abbreviation with the DAS, then NAS, then the SAN. How many types of storage is there? How many types of storage are there? These types of storage are divided into how many types? Three types. What are they? What are they? One is what? DAS, the other is called NAS, and the other one is called SAN. So these are the three types of storage we had. So here, first of all, here, DAS stands for what? DAS stands for what? Yes, DAS stands for what? I got the answer even for NAS and storage. People are today very fast. Before I'm asking, you're right. Thank you, everyone, for your response. So DAS stands for what? Direct, attached, direct, attached storage. So this is the abbreviation for DAS. Whereas the NAS stands for network, attached, storage. Then what about the SAN? SAN stands for what? Storage, area, network. Area, network. So these are the abbreviation for DAS, NAS, and SAN. Yes. Now let us come to the what you mean by DAS. So as the name indicate here, it is called as what? Direct, attached, direct, attached, attachment. You can also use the word direct attached attachment storage. So here, what do you mean by that means, suppose this is my machine. This is my machine. In this machine, directly my hard disk will be connected. In this machine, directly my hard disk will be connected. So this type of thing is called as what? Where our machine and hard disk is directly connected to each other. Then that is type of storage is called. That type of storage is called DAS. So the hard disk which is directly connected to our machine or to our system or to our server, it is called as what? DAS. So now in this DAS, in this DAS, the partition is created by using which tool? DAS. Partition is created using partition is created. Partition is created by using what tool? I am using the DAS to create the partition. What is the tool I'll use to create the partition? To create the partition, we have to use the tool. So in DAS, partition is created by using what tool? Yes, the DAS means the hard disk which is directly physically connected to the server or to the system is called DAS. Yes. So in the DAS, the partition is created. In DAS, the partition is created by using which tool? This is the tool name. Like we are using, this is the example for our laptop or desktop. So create a partition. Which tool you are using in your machine? Yes, disk management. What is the tool we are using here? So whenever we want to create a partition through this task, our tool name is what? Disk management. Disk management. So what is the tool name? Disk management tool. So by using this tool, we are creating the partition in the dash. Disk management. Yes. Then what about the NAS and SAN? Let us discuss now. Now I'm focusing on what? So let us focus on NAS. Here, NAS stands for what? NAS stands for what? Network attachment storage. So here, so here, what we will have? Our hard disk will be not, or your hard disk will be not directly connected to your server or to your machine. So in the network attachment, you will have a device. Here you will have a device. This is your device. Here you will have a device. The device name is what? It's called NAS. NAS box. Yes. So it contains a device. The device is called NAS, Network Attachment Storage. So here in this box, you will have multiple hard disks. Here you will have what? Multiple hard disks. And this hard disk will be connected to the server. This is your server. This will be your server. So directly the hard disk won't be present in your server on your machine. So your hard disk will be present in a device called NAS box, Network Attached Storage, which contain multiple hard disks. Then that will be connected to a server, not directly. So then multiple hard disks will be. So this is generally used. Generally, it is used. Will be connected from this to this to the server. Then this is used for what? Small to medium size network. Small to medium size network. Yes, small to medium size network. So this is used in which environment? In the companies which are small to medium size company. But if the company is very large, then they will go for what? They'll go for what? SAN. So in the SAN also, you will have here a device. Here you will have what? A device. The device name is what? Sandbox. Here it will have more number of hard disks. More number of hard disks. Multiple hard disks. So this also will be connected to the server from the box to the server. And this is suitable for large network, large organization like data center. But the important thing is what? How do you connect this hard disk from the SAN or from the NAS to the server? What you'll use here to connect here from the NAS box or SAN box, you're connecting the hard disk to the server. How do you connect it? What that? Yeah, now it is not directly. We are connecting it through the what? This comes under what? Network method. So we are connecting the hard disk to the server by using what? Network method. We are using network method. So to connect this, what tool we will use here? What we will use here? Here, this connectivity of the hard disk from the NAS box to the server or from the sandbox to the server, it is been done by using what tool called IC. What we are using? we are using to connect this hard disk to the network method to our server. We use what? We use what? ISCSI. What is the abbreviation for ISCSI? What is the abbreviation for ISCSI? ISCSI stands for what? ISCSI stands for what? Yes, the abbreviation for ISCSI. Internet. I stands for what here? Internet. Yes, internet. Then after that, we already discussed that. ISCSI. Internet. Then small computer system interface. So from the sandbox or the NAS box, the hard disk will be connected using the network method. Using what? ISCSI. Using what? ISCSI. Understood? What is the full form of ISCSI? Internet, internet or computer interface. This is the full form of ISCSI. Sorry, point I need to elaborate here. So here, hard disk from the NAS box to the server is connected to the Ethernet. Sorry, it is connected to the Ethernet, and here it is connected via fiber optic. And the tool, this is the tool. This is a network method. So directly the hard disk is not connected. That is connected to the Ethernet and fiber. And the tool which we used to create the partition is what? Is the tool which will create the partition. The tool which is used to create the partition. It is a partition tool through which will create the partition. So which is called ISCSI. So I repeat once again. So in the DAS, what happens? The hard disk will be directly in contact with the system. So directly hard disk is connected to the system, which is nothing but your server. That is called DAS. So in this, the partitions are created by using which tool? The same way, we have another two types of storage that is called NAS and SAN. So both this storage is used not directly, so they are connected remotely. So it means this comes under what? This method, and this method comes under network method. This comes under what? Network. So the hard disk will be somewhere else, your server will be somewhere else. So you need to connect it. So here you will have two types of devices or box, which are NAS box or SAN box. So from the SAN box or the NAS box, the server will be connected. This hard disk from the SAN box or NAS box will be connected using technology. So here it is the hard disk from the NAS box will be connected to your server using what? Ethernet. And whereas in the sandbox, from the sandbox, it will hard disk, it will be connected to your server by using what? Optic fiber. So this is the different technology they use for connecting purpose. But now, once your devices are connected through the SAN and NAS, how do you create a partition now? You need a tool. So what is the tool we will be using to create the partition in NAS and SAN technology? ISCSI. What is the full form of the ISCSI? What is the full form of ISCSI? Internet Small Computer System Interface. So in the ISCSI, we will also have one term called ISCSI Initiator. We'll also use one term what? ISCSI Initiator. So what is the ISCSI Initiator? It is a service which is used to connect the network storage devices like SAN or NAS. So we use in the iSCSI what? iSCSI initiator. iSCSI initiator is what? It is a service which is used to connect the SAN or net box, the NAS or SAN box to the tool called iSCSI. So the connection is established by using iSCSI initiator. Yes, we can use this iSCSI from the Windows 2012 onwards. So it is inbuilt, it is given. Yes. So before that, they were mostly working with what GPT sorry, MBR model. Before that, they were using what MBR model. In that, they mostly used to use what some separate device used to become like iSCSI. They used to have some separate device with the NAS and sandbox. They need to purchase that. Then they need to use that tool. Some tools used to be third-party tool used to be available that need to be purchased and installed. Through that, they used to connect it. But now from 2012, it is come inbuilt. iSCSI now is coming inbuilt. So please remember, iSCSI is a tool through which we are creating the partition from the NAS and SAN storage. And the iSCSI is get connected through the iSCSI initiator. So iSCSI initiator is a connection, a service through which it will connect to the iSCSI tool. And physically you will connect your server from the NAS box using Ethernet. And physically you will connect the sandbox, what you will call hard disk to your server using fiber optic. So which will provide you better and fast connectivity, sandbox or NAS box, which will provide you the better connectivity. And yes, but you remember they are very costly. And managing SAN requires specific knowledge. You need special or more training about the fiber optic also. Then you can handle and manage your sandbox. You need specialized training or knowledge regarding handling the sandbox. They are very costly compared to the NAS box. Okay, but this is the overall as a no. It can be. It is what platform independent. There is nothing like SAN or NAS can be connected only to the Windows or Mac. It can be connected platform. This technology is what platform independent. Can be connected to any hard disk. It depends on the hard disk. So that hard disk, it is your choice to install whichever OS you want to install. It is never related with the operating system. So now they are having it supports all. Now coming to the slide, now whatever we are important information as a fresher or beginner we should have about today. Now, what is the tool we will use in the dash disk management? But for the network, we will use what iSCSI. So now coming to the partition style, we have two types of partition style. One is called MBR, the other one is what GP. So MBR we already discussed. It contain what first three primary partition. Fourth one will be what extended and can be divided into number of logical partitions. But maximum if you take after the three partition, fourth one by default it becomes what extended. But forcefully if you want to make extended as what primary you can do, but after that you cannot create any other partition. So maximum it will support how PT you will have what how many partitions 128 and all will be what primary partition. So MBR can support up to 2 TB, but whereas GPT can support up to 18 hexabyte. So if you want, please note down this or take a snapshot of that. to manage our NAS and we use what tool? iSCSI. Done with this? Already you know what is meant by partition. Partition is nothing but dividing our hard disk space logically. So dividing our hard disk space or memory into logically into what? Based on our requirement, some space that is nothing but your when we talk about partition, it is logical division or physical division. Logical. Physical, if you do, can you use? No. It is a logical division of the hard disk space into 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 what? Our logical value, into our required value. That is called partition. First, the three will be primary and the fourth one will be extended. From extended, we can create a number of logical drives. Logical values, remember, not physically. Yes. Up to this. So partition is nothing but dividing our hard disk space into logical volumes or logically into our required values called as what? Partition. So once you divide that hard disk logically into different volumes, then it is called first three is called primary, fourth one extended. From extended we can create logical drive. Done up to this. What are the file system we have? Different file system like FAT, NTFS. Now the latest one is what? REF. But this we understood everything. NAS and like this we understood. But one more thing we have to do that is important for today. Let me first let you complete this. Please take it like a screenshot or the photo so that we can go to the next topic. Because today topic is little bit lengthy. So please go a little bit faster. Can I go to the next slide? Now coming to the dash here, directly the hard disk is directly connected to the server. So what is the advantage with this? Thing we need to configure. So it is easy to configure and it is inexpensive. But what is the disadvantages? It is directly attached to the server, so it will be slower. This is about the dash. Okay. Let's take a snapshot quick so that we can go to the next slide. Done. Okay. Next one. This will be something like your NAS box. So NAS is a what storage a device. The device contain multiple hard disks, and those hard disks will be not either SATA or ID. That will be generally what SSD or SAS, those type of or SCSI hard disk. So this box is relatively inexpensive compared to the SAN, easy to configure. But when you access it, it will take some time. So access time is a little bit lengthy. So the network will be slow. So it is suitable for generally small organization, not a big one. So how do you connect it now from the NAS to the your DAS? By using the Ethernet. You will have not inbuilt LAN card, which is called area local area network Ethernet. Through that it will be connected. Done. Everybody. Yes. Isolated means separate. Next, come to the next slide. That will be regarding with what SAN. SAN offers you what high availability with most flexibility. What is the advantage? Here you have what sandboxes, multiple hard disks, multiple switches. This setup is very complicated, not easy. Faster access time, easily expandable, centralized, high level of redundancy, but more expensive and requires skills you cannot implement. And here it is connected using what fiber channel, optic fiber. Can be also connected using what? Okay, okay. Okay, done. For that, you need to work on the real-time environment, or there are certain training institutes which will give you the training regarding the SAM. As per I know, those training centers were mostly in Bangalore. I don't know about Amirpet. Anybody is there or not? As far I know, there is nobody in Amirpet, Hyderabad. No, we don't have our branch in Bangalore. It's there in Surat and Vijayawada. Okay, can I go to the next one? We are going to talk about what everything you are doing on the hard disk. So now, suppose whether you talk about the data storage, where the data storage will be done on the hard disk. So everything you are doing on a suppose the hard disk get failed, your hard disk get failed, then what happens? You are maintaining everything like this. Your hard disk got failed, and what happens? Because in the real time you everything the backup. So now, if imagine your hard disk where your entire data you kept get lost. Now imagine. So this is the setup we are using no every day. What is the setup? This is our domain. Your domain entire structure is based on triangle. In this, your most important machine is what? DC. This is your DC. How to configure DC, you know. Then everything is then your clients are there, there your member server is there. Then here your ADC is there, your complete setup. So in this, everything, the data of this complete will be there here in the DC. So this data DC have what? The database file. What is the database file? ntds.dit. So where the complete network data will be stored. But this data where will be stored? So this DC can be connected either NAS or sign. But this data will be stored in some hard disk. Yes. So this is the hard disk. Imagine DC that can be connected to a DAS, NAS, and we have discussed that. So if this hard disk get failed, what happens? You tell me. If this hard disk get failed, what happens? Because in the real time, for DC you are maintaining ADC. For DSCP you are making failover. For DNS you are making slave DNS. Then what about this? Everything is there on the hard disk. Now, if the hard disk get failed, then what happens? So there is less chance. Sometimes the data, there are certain tools, there are some companies which will manage this. Once the hard disk get failed, they'll try to retrieve the data. But in some cases, that retrieving also may not be possible, and you need to wait so many days. They'll tell you 5 to 10 days like that. So till that time, what you'll do? So if you are taking the backup also, where that generally you'll take the backup. Same hard disk you are taking everything. So if that hard disk get failed, yes, I got the answer. So you may see to take the backup. You are taking the backup as an administrator, but everything you are managing in this single hard disk. The company data, the backup, everything. If this hard disk failed, what happens? Everything is lost. So whether it is a human error now, no, you done your work. But now the company is saying, I lost the data. Now the company is suppose giving the support to some banking sector. So immediately they may terminate you. But for the company, your job is not the solution. Now the people who are their client, like the banking sector, may asking, I need the data at any cost. Then what is the solution? They may remove you. They will and I may also get you may also get some other job. But here, this may repeat after some days again, or some month, or some year. So in the real time, they'll maintain the backup of hard disk also. They'll maintain the backup of hard disk in real time. Backup of hard disk. So how they'll maintain the backup of hard disk? That maintenance of backup of hard disk is done by using a technology called RAID. This is not the backup of the data. This is done with the help of is done. This is done with the help of what? A technology called RAID. So how do you maintain the backup of the hard disk? By using a technology called RAID. So in the RAID, generally what you will do, you will copy the data of your important machine or server machine, not in one hard disk. So by applying the RAID on that hard disk, you will keep the data in not one hard disk, in multiple hard disks. You will keep the data in multiple hard disks. So how many hard disks you have to use? That depends on the RAID levels. What you have? RAID levels. So but generally that depends on what? RAID level. So in RAID level generally you will never store. What are the RAID levels you are aware about? Anybody? What are the RAID levels you heard? Yes. RAID levels are divided like this. RAID level 0, 1, RAID level 0, 1, then 5. So these are the commonly used RAID level. We don't have 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 2, 3, 4, it's not there. Yes, 6 is the latest. 10 is the combination of zeros and 1. Yes. So we are going to focus now to this 3, 1. 0, 1, 5. Okay. So our focus now is what? On the RAID, because we need to maintain the backup of hard disk. So physically you will not do that. For that you have a technology called RAID. So the overall understanding or the conclusion is that to maintain the backup of the hard disk, you need to apply the RAID. So in the RAID, what you will do, you will store the data not in single hard disk, on multiple hard disks. How many multiple hard disks you have to take? That depends on the RAID level. So we'll discuss now the RAID levels. Okay. So did you understand the concept now? We know what is the different types of hard disk. We know what are the style, formatting style, then partition style, then formatting style. Then we came to what? How to create the partition, all those things. Tools. How many types of storage are there? DAS, NAS, and SAN. We know the difference. So DAS means directly connectivity. NAS and SAN is done through what? Some special device like Ethernet or optic fiber. Then to create the partition, the tool is what? In the DAS, disk management. In the NAS and SAN, we'll use what? iSCSI. So our main focus is on iSCSI. But that you will not do in the real time on single hard disk. You will do on multiple hard disks. So how these multiple hard disks are connected logically? By using one technology called RAID, so that your data automatically stores, not you will physically not keep the data, or manually you will not keep the data in different hard disks. Just you need to configure what? RAID. So then your total data will be automatically stored in multiple hard disks depending upon which RAID level you are using. So we need to discuss. So what is so special about the RAID means, once you configure the RAID by taking multiple devices, then automatically your data will be stored on multiple hard disks. So that if one of the hard disks get failed, means the data will be stored in other hard disks. So from you can retrieve the same data from other working hard disks. So for that you just need to wait, because we need to discuss the RAID level. After that you will understand it. Okay. So you can just imagine something like this. So RAID is a technology which works like a backup of the hard disk. We are maintaining the backup of the hard disk by using multiple hard disks. Okay. Okay, fine. So let us go to the what now? RAID. We'll go to what? RAID. RAID. So RAID is a technology which combines multiple hard disks into a logical unit to provide the fault tolerance and performance. Provide the fault tolerance, and one hard disk is not enough. You need to maintain multiple hard disks, because by creating multiple partition in one hard disk, you are keeping the data. But if that hard disk get failed, then what happens? Everything is lost. So to prevent that, we are using what? Multiple hard disks by using RAID, so that the data automatically will be copied into multiple hard disks. If one of them get failed also, will not lose the data. That is called fault tolerance. So RAID is what? A technology which combines multiple hard disks into single logical unit to provide fault tolerance and performance. So the fault tolerance is provided by the rate. So the fault tolerance you will provide it by using what? Certain mechanism that is called disk mirroring and parity information. What is disk mirroring? What is parity information? We'll see it after a few minutes. Then rate provides the improves the performance by taking the data into multiple hard disks so that the data can be retrieved, can be stored very quickly. So RAID can be configured by using different RAID levels. So RAID is not a backup. RAID is a technology which is primarily used for the purpose of what? Keeping your data also safe, even if in multiple hard disks. So when you apply the RAID means it doesn't mean you have taken the backup of the data. Backup of the data is different. This is something like backup of the hard disk. So whatever data is there in one particular hard disk, that will be copied into other hard disk by using the RAID. So if one hard disk get failed also, will not lose any data. Understood? So please quickly take it, these notes, because it's a very big concept. I need to extend the time also, but I cannot leave in between. So please take it fast. So can I go to the next one? Just take a snapshot. Oh, we have different RAID levels. So what do you mean by fault tolerance? So when we apply the RAID, we should get the fault tolerance. So please remember what is meant by fault tolerance. And you decide when we apply the RAID, we should get the fault tolerance or not. Here, ability to survive the hardware failure is called fault tolerance. So fault tolerance provides the data redundancy, means same data you can get it even if the hard disk get failed if you are maintaining multiple hard disks. So fault tolerance is not a replacement for backup. Fault tolerance means what? Same data will be copied in multiple hard disks. So if one of the hard disks get failed also, the data will not be lost. So that is called fault tolerance. So when we apply the RAID, we should get what? Fault tolerance. Understood? So how we'll get this fault tolerance? We'll see now. So to apply the RAID, we have RAID levels. Apply the RAIDs, we have what? RAID levels. So can we go to the RAID levels now? So how many RAID levels is there in the uses? 0, 1, 5. Now the latest one is 6. And some companies are using the combination of zeros and 1. That is not called 10. It is called 10 or 01. Okay. So first we will go to the RAID level 0. So RAID level 0 is called as what? Simple volume. RAID level 1 is called as what? It is the mechanism name, mirroring volume. RAID level 5 is called stripping with parity. So these are the three levels we are going to discuss today. Yes. Can I go to the first one? Simple volume, which is referred commonly as what? RAID level 0. Now, RAID level 0. So, implementing the RAID level 0, minimum how many hard disks you require? 2 hard disks. So, till now we were working on single hard disk, but now minimum for maintaining the backup of the hard disk, we need 2 hard disks if you apply the RAID level 0. So, the data is written in alternately in 2 hard disks, means some data in one hard disk, other data. Have you taken this now? Just take the snapshot in your free time, you can write it. Okay. Nikhil, can I go to the next one? So to apply the RAID level 0, we need minimum 2 hard disks. In this, the data is written alternately across the disk, means some data in one hard disk, some other data in other hard disk. So this is also called as what? Spanning, dividing your total data into 2 different hard disks. You don't have to do as an administrator. Once you configure, it will be done automatically. So the biggest drawback is what in the red level 0, fault tolerance is not available. Means the total data is divided into hard disk. So suppose imagine if one of the hard disk get failed, because we are discussing in red what if the hard disk get failed, we should not lose the data. But in red level 0, what happens? The total data is divided into hard disk. If one of the hard disk get failed, means 50% of the data is lost. So there is no fault tolerance. Fault tolerance means what? Data should not be lost even if hard disk get failed. But here the data is get lost when the hard disk is lost. So fault tolerance is not there. This is the biggest drawback with red level 0. So to overcome this, they develop another level, red level 1, that we'll discuss next. What is the advantage with red level 0? Speed is very good. Speed is very good because the total data you're writing in two hard disks. Performance wise, speed is very good. So please quickly take the snapshot of this. Then you can understand this easily with the help of a presentation. Next slide, I have a presentation. Okay, done. Next. This is how the red level 0 will work. So this is the administrator. So now normally you will use one hard disk, but now you are using two hard disks that can be connected through NAS and like this. Now these two hard disks you will combine logically into red level 0. So now here what happens, your total data will be stored logically like this into hard. Now imagine if one of the hard disks get failed, what happens? Either the first hard disk or second hard disk get failed, then the data will be lost. So what is the disadvantage in red level 0? The data is lost if one of the hard disks get failed. Yes. So this is the presentation of red level 0. So to overcome this drawback, they introduce what? Red level 1. So can I go to the red level 1 now? Yes. Can I go to the red level 1? Okay. Now the red level 1 is called as what? Mirroring. So here also minimum how many hard disks it required? Minimum 2 hard disks. So here same data is written in both the hard disks. That's why the word is what? Mirror. Generally mirror means what? Same thing will be there. We can see. So same data will be written in two hard disks. So that if one of the hard disks get failed, you will not lose any data. Same data will be written in two hard disks. So you are getting what? Fault tolerance. Means one of the data failed, there is no data loss. But is there any disadvantage in this? With this model, any disadvantage is there? Yes, the disadvantage is there. What is the disadvantage in this model? You are writing same thing two times. So your writing is will definitely get slower. Reading might be same, but writing get slower. And utility of the hard disk space is only 50%. Same thing you are maintaining two times. Even you are not even compressing the data. So same hard disk, same data, two hard disk you are writing. So the utility of the hard disk is only 50%. Means 50% hard disk you are utilizing, 50% you are wasting. So this is suitable for smaller companies, not bigger companies, because they cannot afford to lose 50% of their space every day. So these are certain advantages. What is the advantage? Fault tolerance is there, but with disadvantage, speed is affected, and the utility of the overall space of the hard disk is only 50%. 50% we are wasting. So to reduce that, they tried some other technologies like red level 2, 3, 4, but they were not successful. So now nobody is using them. Then this drawback can be overcome by using what? Red level 5. So now we'll discuss about red level 5. Okay. Can I go to the red level next? Okay, fine. So the presentation here. Now the total data is this. Now it is saved in both the hard disks. If one of the hard disks get failed also, there is no problem. But the disadvantage, same thing you are maintaining in two hard disks. So you have to write two times, means it will be written two times. So speed will get affected and the overall percentage of usage of this hard disk is only 50%. So to reduce this wastage and to improve the speed, they tried different technology. Ultimately, now they are using what? The red level 5, which works on parity. Parity means what? Two hard disk information will be there in other hard disk. So it has been designed by using the what? XOR gate. If two data is different, then it will copy. If same data is there, it will not copy. That is what called parity. The backup of the two data hard disk will be there in other hard disk. Here, to implement this red level 5, they uses what? Three hard disks. Minimum how many hard disks is required? Three. For 0 and 1, only two hard disks. So they introduce this to reduce the space wastage and at the same time improve the speed. So this they alternate done with the help of what? Parity concept. Parity means two hard disk data will be copied in one hard disk. So alternately means stripping. So the data is written in first and second hard disk. So the who will take the backup? The third hard disk. So always it will be not like that. If it is like that, means the load will be on the third hard disk. So after some time, after few seconds or some gap is there. After that, when some new data comes, then now the data will not be written in first and second hard disk. First and second hard disk first time. Now next, who has taken the backup? Third one. So now the third one will not take the backup. Now the instead of third one, who will take the parity? The second backup third hard disk. Now after few seconds or few some gap is there. After that, who will take the backup? First time, first and second hard disk will take. And the parity means the backup of first and second hard disk will be taken in third hard disk. Now after few seconds, now what will happen? The data will be stored in first and third hard disk. When who will take the parity? First and third hard disk? Second hard disk. Now after few seconds, what will happen? The parity has been changed from third hard disk to second. Now the parity will be taken in the first hard disk. Now who will take the data? Third and second hard disk. So that, like this, the data is divided equally in all the three hard disks. So with this, what happens? If one of the out of the three hard disks, if one of the hard disks get failed also, there is no problem because the data will be there in other hard disk. So speed also improve because in three hard disk you are writing two times. And the fault tolerance is also there. If one of the hard disks get failed, will not. And the wastage is reduced from 50% to 33%. You can see the diagram. You can see the diagram. After that, you can understand. After that, still you have some doubt, I'll explain you once more. Here. So minimum how many hard disks you require? Three hard disks. Three hard disks. I'll show you. Just I'll first finish up with the slide. Then I'll go back. So now here, first time who will take the data? First and second hard disks are taken. Who has taken the backup of this? The third hard disk. Now after few seconds, some new data comes. So the third hard disk is taking the backup. So here the data will be taken from top to bottom and the parity is taken from bottom to top. Please remember the logic. Parity is taken from bottom to top means who has taken the backup? Third hard disk. Now who will take the parity? Now it is moving from bottom to top. So now next will be what? Who will take the backup? Second hard disk will take the parity. After few seconds, it will not take the existing data backup. Already the data whichever is there, it will not take it. It will ignore it by using what? XOR gate. Once a new data comes, the new data will be written in first hard disk. So parity will move from the third hard disk to second. So which new data is been written? 3 and 4. That backup will be written in first and third hard disk. Backup will be written in second hard disk. This is what called parity. So the parity has been moved from third hard disk to second, bottom to top. Now again, when after few seconds, when new data comes, the data will be written in second and third hard disk. But who will take the backup now? First hard disk. So the parity is distributed. That is called stripping. So the parity is divided equally in all the three hard disks. So that load will be not there in one hard disk. Now you will see here. So the total data has been written in three hard disks. But imagine if one of the hard disks get failed, any hard disk, first, second, or third, the data will be there in other two hard disks. So parity you are getting, sorry, you are getting the fault tolerance with the help of this parity concept. At the same time, the utility of the hard disk is improved from 50% to what? 50% to what? Now three hard disks, the data is written two times. So it is what? 67.3 something. So the wastage has been reduced from 50% to what? 33%. So it is now better compared to 0 and 1. But for this, how many hard disks you require? 3. So this setup is what? Costly. Now, now you can, did you understood now what is the process takes place in the red level 5? Yes. Now you go back to the here. If one of the hard disks get failed, what happens? The data is not lost. But is there any problem in the red level 5? Is there any problem in the red level 5? I'll show you the slide back, but I'm just finishing the concept. Is there any drawback in the red level 5? Any drawback? You are getting the data even if a hard disk get failed. And the storage, more hard disk. That is the company is saying. It is our costly. So the company is saying, don't worry about that. We will spend it. The drawback with this setup is what? This is suitable for more costly. That is there. But this setup is suitable only for what? If one of the hard disks get failed. If suppose simultaneously, if you're bad luck, simultaneously two hard disks get failed, then what happens? The data will be lost. Rate will be collapsed. Data will be lost. So this red level 5 is suitable if one of the hard disks get failed. So it can provide the fault tolerance if one of the hard disks get failed. If two of them get failed means data loss will be there. So to overcome this red level 5 drawback, they have red level 6. In that they are using 4 hard disks at same time. So they are maintaining dual parity. Here single parity is there, no? Dual parity. So in two hard disks, same data will be there at any time. If two of the hard disks get failed also, you will not lose any data. Red level 6. But now, as the technology improves, the human uh, wish also increases. So we started with what wish? If one of the hard disks get failed, we should not lose the data. We are getting. Now what you are saying? If my two of the hard disks get failed, you should not lose. So for that 6 is there. Now people are saying, are asking what? If my 3 or all hard disks should fail also, I should not lose the data because human satisfaction never ends. Yes, but at present you can have maximum 2 hard disk get failed also, you will not lose the data with the help of red level 6. So now I'll go back to the red level 5 slide because somebody asked me the previous slide. Now you can understand, I hope. Minimum 3 hard disks. Here the data is written alternately in 2 hard disks and the backup is taken in parity. So what logic I said? The data will be written from top to bottom and the parity is taken from bottom to top. That logic you understood means you understood the red level 5. So first it will take the parity in third hard disk, then it will move to second, then first, then again it comes back third, second, one, like this. So now did you understood? So now I'll show you how to create the partitions as well as we don't have the NAS and sandbox, so we'll be using what? iSCSI. So implementation of network hard disk can be done by using the iSCSI, which is given inbuilt from 2012. So using the iSCSI in place of SAN or NAS box, we can deploy the remotely hard disk. So that's why iSCSI is also called poor man SAN. So that can work on our small setup, but in the real time, you have to go for device NAS or SAN. Hope you understood this diagram now. So now I'll create the partition and we'll try to implement the RAID. So this can provide the support up to failure of one hard disk. If two of them fail, the data will be lost. So if one of them failed, you can add the new hard disk. Same data will be generated automatically. There is no data loss. This is the advantage. But if two of them failed, then the problem. So with this, we are done with today's theory part. Now we'll move to the practice. Start with practical now. So please today give me some time, maybe 15 to 20 minutes for the practical. Okay, because the concept was important. Now we'll do the multiple partition, then we'll implement. I'll not show you all because just you need to check RAID 0, 1 or 5. Concept is same. So I'll show you with 1 by creating two hard disks. Go with what? RAID level 0. You can, same thing will be there for 1 and 5. Okay. So can I start with the practical? Yes. Okay. So now we'll move with the practical. So to do this practical, what you have to do, we need to install one service because we are remotely connecting the hard disk by using not SAN or NAS. We are doing with what? iSCSI. So first we need to install one service called iSCSI. Today's practice. So how to install the iSCSI, you know. Open the server manager console, click on file and storage. So this is not present directly. So we need to first go inside this file and storage services. Inside that you will have what? iSCSI. Then iSCSI. Click on install. Next, install. Now after this, we the NAS box. Virtual hard disk. We need to create what? Virtual hard disk. How to create the virtual hard disk? In the real time, we will not create. Physically, in the SAN or NAS box, but physical hard disk will be there. So we'll be combining that. But here, we are doing the practical on single hard disk. So we'll create what from the single hard disk? Virtual hard disk. And that virtual hard disk, we will combine and we will proceed with topics. So first I'll install the service. Then after that, I'll create the virtual hard disk. So how many virtual hard disk I need to create to implement the RAID levels? So to implement the RAID level 0, minimum 2 hard disks. For 1 hard disk. For 5, 3 hard disks. So I'm proceeding with what? 2 hard disks. So I'll show you RAID level 0. Same thing you can do for 1 or 5. So how to create the virtual hard disk? So to create the virtual hard disk, virtual disk means virtual hard disk. Remember, select what? iSCSI in the server manager console. Then click on what? Create on the create iSCSI virtual disk. Creating from the E drive. So select the E drive. Next, virtual disk name. Then virtual disk name. Any name you can give. I'm giving virtual disk 1. Next, size should be minimum 4 GB, not less than 4 GB. If you take less than 4 GB, you will not get the output. Then select 4 GB. Next, minimum. Then select new iSCSI target. Name server 1, something like this. Next, click on add. Enter a value for the selected one, like option 2. Select a value. What is that option 2? I'll show you practically. Select that option 2 is what? IP address. And my server IP address. Same thing I can do for the member server also. Then click on next, create. So with this, one hard disk will be created, virtual hard disk. Same way, I can create another hard disk. So for that, right click on the white page, then click more hard disk using the same above procedure. So 2 hard disks will be created. So my first task is what? Install the service called iSCSI. Using that service, I will create 2 virtual hard disks. After creating the 2 virtual hard disks, I need to connect them by using what? Initiator, iSCSI initiator. Once I combine this, I'll apply the RAID level 0. So this is our today's practical. Okay. So please just wait for 10-15 minutes. I'll show you. I don't want to rush up because it's important thing. So I'll go very slowly, normally. If anybody is having very important work, my request is you just stay with the session. Still, that work is very important, which you cannot postpone. Then you can leave the meeting because the same video recordings will be there. By that, if you understand the theory, you can do the practical very easily. So first, I'll be doing this, installing this service. Then I'll be creating the virtual disk. So how many virtual disk I need to create? Minimum 2 virtual disk. So I'll create the virtual disk. So first 2 steps we'll do now. So how many machines I require? In one machine also you can do, or in 2 machine minimum. So I'm going with what? One machine. So let me open my machines now. So I'll be doing from the one machine. Do on multiple machines also. Same process. Now my server is ready. I log in with the administrator. Need to create what? I need to create virtual disk. Before that, let me install the service called iSCSI. So I need to install what? iSCSI. So how I'll install the iSCSI here? So go with what? Here. iSCSI is not installed. So what you do? Go to the add roles and features. Then click with what? Next 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now today you need to, this iSCSI will be present inside the file server. So you can just expand it. Files and storage service. Now here, if you expand this, you will find somewhere what? Here. Files and ice. Next, next install. After installing the iSCSI, we will use with what? We'll have to create virtual hard disk. So let me see here. Yeah, it is getting in. Now iSCSI has been installed. Now let us see in my E drive how much space is there. Minimum I should have about like 12 GB. So I have very less space in the E drive. I cannot use this E drive. So what I'll do, I'll I'll give the more space to my E drive. How to do it? Normal partition first. How to create the normal partition? Go to the what? Disk management. So Windows X key. Then go to what? Here. Can you have disk management? So minimum your drive space should be about 12 GB, 10 to 12 GB. So already I have this. So what I'll do now, I'll create a new space. I'll create a new space. How do you create a new space here? New drive. So select here what? Sync value. How much space is remaining for me? 24. So I'm giving approximately about 12,000 MB means 12 GB. Do this. Now I should format it. This is a normal procedure. So one drive I'm getting. Now you open it. I got one new drive letter. F. How much space is more than 11 GB? So I'll use this for this practical. So from this, I'll multiple hard disk. So something like this for me it is a SAN or NAS box. So from that I'll deploy the virtual hard disk. So now proceed with the practical now. Open your server manager console. So first our task is what? Creating the virtual hard disk. So now you go to the files and storage. Open this. Now we need to create what? Virtual hard disk. I show you here in the practical how to create the virtual hard disk. Here. How to create the virtual hard disk. Select the ISCSI in the server manager console. Click on what? Click on what? Create virtual hard disk. Then select your drive from where you want to do the space. Okay. Now same thing I'm doing here. So I came to my DC now. So now here you open what? The server. So now our requirement is what? Create the ISCSI. So I want to create what? The virtual. So select here what? ISCSI. Then here it is giving the option to create an ISCSI virtual hard disk. Start on new virtual hard disk. Now here I'm selecting from which one? Here, multiple. Then select here. Then next. Name. Any name you can give. So I'm giving what? VD virtual hard disk 1. Next. How much? Minimum it should be 4 GB, not less than that. I give 4 GB. Next. You can give any name, like I'm giving my system name. Anything. Anything you can give. That is optional. 1. Now add. Here you go to the which option I said? Second option. Here you have what? IP address. So which IP address I need to use? IP address. Then go to which what? Okay. Select this option. Just 1 second. Add here IP address. Which address I need to write the value? I did not given the value. What is the value? 10.0.0.1. Then okay. It's added. Then next create. So before that, if you want to do one more time, one more thing in other machine, you can do like this. Click on. You can give now this thing for the other machine, remote machine. 10.0.0.0.0. You can do like this also. can use multiple machines or remotely also. So I'm doing on same machine. You can do on the multiple machine. So I selected this. Then I'll go with what next. Next. Now create. So how many virtual hard disk will be created? One hard disk. This is done in this machine. If you select that other IP, it will be done in other machine. So you can see here, one hard disk is created. Same way, you need to create one more hard disk. You need to create minimum for red level 0, we need two hard disks. How to create one more? Right click. Now here, new iSCSI virtual hard disk. Same thing you have to do, same process. Select what? F drive. Then next, how I did, same thing. Then this name should be what? VDH2. Same thing I'm doing. How much again this should be? 4 GB. Don't write GB. It is designed to take in GB. Next. Next. Then here create. One more hard disk will be created. Now, how many hard disks have been created in this machine? Two hard disks, virtual hard. So this is the first part of the practical. So we have installed the iSCSI service. Using this iSCSI service, we have created two virtual hard disks. So up to this, everybody understood? Okay. Now we need to connect them. We need to connect the hard disk by using what? iSCSI initiator. So we need to go to the system one server machine, open the server manager console, open what? iSCSI initiator from the tools. Then target one, click on quick connect. Done. Okay. So refresh all your virtual disks, then select the virtual disk, refresh. Now they are not connected, see here. So I need to connect it with what? Using the iSCSI initiator. You can see here. It is saying what? It is not connected. So to connect them, we need to go to the tools, click on what? Tools. Then go to the here, iSCSI initiator. Now here, target. What is the target here? In the target, you need to give the IP address where you have created this hard disk. See, I created target in which 10.1. If I'm doing remotely, I'll give the 10.2. Concept is same. Now I'll be writing here what 10. Server IP address. Then say what? Quick connect. Now here, it's got done. Now here, you select. Still, it is showing not connected. So you say what? Select the both the hard disk. Now here you have the refresh option. Can you see here refresh option? What it is saying? It's got connected. The first thing, create the virtual hard disk, then connect them. Up to this we have done. Next, we have to storage pool. So we need to create what? Combining this multiple hard disk into a single pool. That is called storage pool. What we have to do? Combine this two hard disk into one pool. So how do you create the storage? Then here what disk? Right click on both these hard disks, open the storage pool, refresh it. Refresh it. Now right click on the storage pool space, then click on what? New storage pool. You can give any name. Check the box. Disk 1 and disk 2 for what? Red level 0. Same way if you have created multiple disks, you can use what? Like if you have created 3 disks, you can select here like this 3 4 for red one, 5 6 like this. Procedure is same. Now we can apply the red. So first I am showing you how to create the storage pool from the disk which. So same created another two hard disks suppose. You select here what 3 4 and for apply. Okay, I'll do it. You can get the clarity now. So now I need to create the pool. So storage pool will be here. So you click on what? Storage pool. See here. So you go to the storage pool. Now creating the storage pool. Right click. Right click in the white screen. New storage pool. Go with what? Next. Now the pool name anything. Now next. Now you check here. So suppose you have created how many hard disks? 2 hard disks. Suppose you have created some more hard disks, you can check it. Then next. 4 plus 4, 8 here. Next. Create. So now one pool will be created from 4 to 4, 8G. Close. So one storage pool has been created here. Same thing you can do it for. Now I made ready this for what? Pool have been created. So if you want RAID level 2 to 1 to be done, you create another pool like this. You want a RAID level to be done, create another pool like this. But for RAID level 5, 3 hard disks has to be created first. So procedure and method is same. So everybody understood up to this? Yes, everybody understood up to this? Okay. Now we have created the storage pool. Now it is ready. Now it is ready to apply the RAID. So whichever RAID you want to apply, you can apply it. So last thing for today is what? Applying the RAID. So how to apply the RAID, you can see. So your devices is now ready. So now you apply the RAID. So how to apply the RAID now, which is called simple volume. Then in the server manager console, storage pool, right click on the storage pool which you have just now created. Then click on new virtual disk. Next name, any name you can give. So this is the name for the RAID level 0. So what is the name I have given? Zoom. You can give any name. Next simple volume. Select it. Select what? Thin. So thin, if you select in the future, if you want this partitions or hard disk, virtual disk which you have created can be increased the size of that with the help of thin. Then create virtual disk size. Then create close. Click on next. Then volume size, volume space. Name is optional. Then create close. Verification. Okay. In the verification, what you have to do, when you open the computer icon, you will get a new drive. Now it might be already my F is there. So now what will be the appear next? G. The size will be about 8 GB. So like this, you can create the storage to 3 for RAID level 0, sorry, 1 and 5. Same concept. So let me create the last thing for today. That is RAID level 1. So how to create it? Select this, right click. Now apply. Now apply what? Here. The notes, same thing I'm doing. How I'm creating the RAID level 0. So select the storage pool, right click on the storage pool, new virtual disk, new name. The same thing I'm doing here. Go to your storage pool which you have created now. In my case, pool 1, new virtual disk. Next. The name, any name you can give. I'm giving the name like example Zoom. You can give any name. Now here, if you want to configure the RAID level 0, select this. If you want to configure the RAID level 1, select this. If you want to configure the RAID level 5, select this. I'm showing you 0. Same procedure, same method. But for this, you need to create in background how many things? 3 hard disks. Then you combine them into a pool. Understood the process? Process and method is same. Only this condition you have to remember. I'm going with what? 2 hard disks, so I'm going with what? Simple. So simple means RAID level 0. If I select here mirror means it is RAID level 1. If I select here parity means RAID level 5. Next, I should select here fixed means this size, whatever partition I've taken, that cannot be resized in the future. If I select the fixed, so select here thin. So it means if you want to increase your size of the partition in the future, you can do it. So now next, what is the size I'm giving now? 8 GB. 8 is enough because 4 plus 4 is 8. Create. It has got create. Red level 0 has been implemented. Close. You've got next window. Click on next, next, next. You will never get the complete space. It keeps on reading. See now, a new drive is appearing. What will appear to me? Z drive. Next, create. Close. Now the verification is what? Out of the 8 GB, you got 6 point something. Out of that, now you see what how much you got. Open your my computer. Now you'll find one new drive appearing. This is your. This is your. So you got this. Whatever data you write now, automatically this data will be written in here. It will appear to one drive, but in the background, the data will be divided equally into two hard disks. So this is for the red level 0. If I apply the mirror means same data will be copied in two hard disks. So if one of the hard disks get failed means the data will be lost. If I take red level 5 means it will appear me the drive single, but in that the data will be stored in three hard disks by using the concept parity that we have discussed in the theory. Same concept will happen. Practically nobody can show you. This is the concept happen in the background. Understood? Logical everything. So that's it for today. This is the practical about the taking the backup of the hard disk using the RAID concept. So we discussed today lots of things like first types of hard disk, then we created the partition, discussed the partition style, then formatting style, and we discussed what types of storage, what is the difference. Then we came that everything is stored in on the hard disk. So if a hard disk get failed means complete thing will be lost. So to prevent that, we have a technology called RAID. In RAID, we have what levels depending upon the hard disk means usage. So in red level 0, two hard disks has to be used. One also two hard disks, but 5 minimum 3 hard disks. Maximum you can use up to 32 hard disks. Remember. Then how to implement this thing? So in the real time, you'll be using what the boxes, TAN or NACs. But here with the operating system, something like a software, we have iSCSI. So first I install the iSCSI, then I can provide the remote hard disk from one machine to the other by using what iSCSI. So first we install the iSCSI, then I using the iSCSI I created multiple hard disks. Then I connected them. I made into one pool. Then after creating the pool, I apply the RAID depending upon which level I want to configure. So procedure and method is same. Understood every? That's it for today. So those people who have understood the session and don't have any doubt, you can leave the session. And those people who are having the doubts, you can stay and ask me your doubts. Thank you everybody. Tomorrow onwards, we'll discuss first part MCSE. So tomorrow I'll take what virtualization. So in VM in Microsoft or through the Windows operating system, we have inbuilt application called hypervisor. So through that we can do the virtualization, multiple OS. So tomorrow I'll do with what one topic from Windows virtualization, and tomorrow I'll start Linux also. So tomorrow we'll see the introduction of Linux. That will be tomorrow's session. So that's it for today. Please, all of you, take care of yourself, keep yourself safe. Thank you, everybody. Then now, those who are having the doubts, they can write on the chat. Yes, you can ask me. Those whoever have the doubts, you please you can ask me your doubts.